Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Podcast. It's your host, Matt Zahab. We are buzzing as always. And folks, I love having a guest come on for round 2 today. The last time we had this lad on the show, give or take, I want to say 4 or 5 months ago, he said that him and his company Raise were cooking up something special. And boy, oh boy, did they ever. Can't wait to get into it. Today, George Bousis is back on the show for round 2. Serial entrepreneur and angel investor at the forefront of the payments, loyalty, and blockchain industries. He's the founder and CEO and chairman of Raise, and he launched the world's largest leading platform for digital gift cards. Under his leadership, Raise has achieved over $5 billion in sales, saving its customers up to $250 million, literally at the forefront of crypto, Web3, and gift cards. George, welcome to the show, my friend. Pumped to have you on for round 2. How you doing this lovely morning?
I was going to say, keep it going. I like the hype. It's been good.
A little tire pumped to get the morning started.
We actually, the one thing that you had said, that is important for me to add to and correct is that we've actually saved our customers upwards of $400 million now, which is what we get most excited about at the company. That's kind of our leading metric that we look at, which is ultimately how much money are we putting back into the pockets of our customers. And so that's something that really wakes us up in the morning, drives us to continue building the future in this space. And, I just thought it'd be an important thing to note.
That's amazing. The big news. And last time we spoke, you said that you were about to be a dad, and you're a dad now. That's incredible.
Yep.
I just turned 30. I want to be a dad. It's not up to me. It's up to the lady. But
Right,
first we gotta get
right.
married, then we gotta have some kids. But
Well, it kind of is up to you. You just have to be careful.
that's true.
Right?
Yes, that is true. But how incredible has it been?
It's been the coolest thing I think I've ever experienced. I mean, you really think like building companies and all this stuff is really the most important thing that you do. But I think for me, it's definitely been starting a family and having a baby. I obviously do a lot of the easy work. My wife handles a lot of the harder stuff with her, and she is a handful. But it's been really fulfilling. And I would say have kids, have them young. I wish I would have even had them younger, because I think being a young dad there's something really special to it. And you're never really prepared as much as you think you're prepared. But, I'm just looking forward to having more of these things. And it's been really special. As I was telling you early this morning, we saw her first laugh and her first little giggle today, which is really something special. It kind of tickles your heart. And I think there's also something special about having a daughter first. My wife always said that I need something to soften me up a bit, and it definitely has. I'm like soft serve around her. So it's been awesome.
That's
Thanks
amazing.
for asking.
So happy for you and the wife. One last question on this is
Sure.
I've heard this from my mentors, some incredible people who I've just good friends, good family members, people I respect. I've asked them, I said, when you have a kid, like someone like you who hauls a lot of ass, who works his ass off, I've heard that when you have kids, you obviously, the hours that you put in aren't as many, but the hours you do put in are now more efficient, because you're like, I have no time to waste because I want to get back to my baby girl. Am I like way out of line there, or is that trend that I have heard, is that true?
Look, I'm kind of a maniac, and I think I work a little too much, and I don't really have many hobbies. I think my hobby is like just building, and that's why it just doesn't feel like I'm working.
Gotcha.
I would say I'm really spoiled working from home. There's so many amazing benefits that you never really realize before you're actually a dad, of how special it is to be able to wake up and see your kids and hang out. And anytime you have a break or grab another coffee or do something, you go out and see them, shake them, hug them, kiss them, all that. So I think that definitely resonates from that sense. But I can tell you, like, since I had her, or we had her, I feel like you just kind of, your life gets kicked into a whole other gear, and you see a whole different side of you that you didn't realize existed. It's like this whole new motivation, this whole new thing that comes over you that you need to build for her now. And it's not just about you, yourself, or your spouse or your girlfriend or whatever it may be. This is something that you're responsible for the rest of your life. And so they always say you never really sleep well after you have kids, and you're always worried. I definitely feel bad for my mom and for my parents for all the shit that I put them through growing up. And you never really realize how much they love you and how much they care about you. And the reason why they are so crazy at times is because how much you mean to them. And, I think for me, it's built up a lot of compassion for my parents and for what they've built and what they've done for us, the sacrifices they had made. Because, I feel like back in the day, all of our parents didn't really have much help. They didn't really have all this stuff, and they had full-time jobs. And, there was no such thing as maternity leave or paternity leave or any of that kind of stuff for them to really enjoy the moment. And so, I don't know how they did it. It's really amazing to see, that they were able to pull it off, but it really kind of helps motivate me that we have it pretty easy. And I think every next generation should get a little better and a little easier.
Jesus, George, you got me ready to run through a fucking wall this morning. Holy crap.
Start having kids.
Yeah, didn't know I was having Tony Robbins on the pod this morning.
Yeah, right.
All right. That was an electric start. Let's jump into raise here. Since the last time we spoke, you guys raised a clean, sexy 63 mil by some big dogs too. On Ventures, you had the Amber Group, Anagram, Black Pine, just a Sonic Boom, Web3 Foundation. You had the Polychain Capital. You had, Tekken Salimi, formerly Polychain Capital. You had Raj Gokali, co-founder of Solana. Teddy, you had some big dogs here. Walk me through the whole process. What was this raise like? How long did it take? And where is it going towards? Because you guys are already very profitable. Like, it seems like you got everything locked and loaded. Why the raise? Tell me about the whole process and why you wanted to raise more money.
So we were actually going to raise 69 million. I'm joking. I got asked by so many people. I was just at ETH Denver. They're like, why did you raise 69? I'm like, you're such a troll. Anyhow, I would say, one, it further validates what we're building and what we're doing is real. And, there's some really amazing and some really smart investors that we brought to the table. And they're incredibly sophisticated. They're investors in a bunch of different projects. They've seen the good. They've seen the bad. And I would say that there wasn't much of a sales process that I had to pitch to them. To their credit, they really understood what we were building and where we were going and why this was such an important moment in crypto in general. And I think, some of the best projects in the future are going to be the ones that don't seem so obvious when you look at them at the surface. But ultimately, in order for us to get to 1 billion users, in order for us to really kind of go mainstream, we need applications that feel like native Web 2 applications and just that leverage blockchains as technologies, whether it be smart contracts, or anything for lack thereof, to build the future. And so, I think for us, when we spoke to Han, and credit to Diogo and to Katie and the rest of their team there, they got it immediately. They built up conviction. It just came down to, how do we make this work and how do we partner together? And I think the rest of the pieces kind of fell like dominoes. We're really lucky that at Protagonist, my venture firm, we work with a lot of these guys. And so, I think there was already a existing relationship there. And so when it came to kind of going out and telling the vision, and the fact is we didn't need the money, I think it also gives you a very different position
100%.
of strength at that moment.
100%.
It came down to, how is this a 1 + 1 = 3 outcome? And how do we ultimately build this together? Because again, one of the things you learn really quickly when you get your ass kicked for a bunch of years in a business, because what you realize, it's never a linear line up. And, this is what I tell everyone. This has been a decade plus journey for us, and it's full of ups and downs. And there's a lot of worse days than there are good days. But when you really have a partner that understands that and wants to work with you and realizes that this is also not a 1-year thing for us again, I'm in this for the long haul and we're really going to build something special. I think that conviction that you build with your partners that want to build the future with you is really what gets us fired up and excited to kind of kick this off.
One quick thing that I sort of, again, just in doing research for the show, and the first time I had you on, I was so impressed by how clean the app and the website and the branding and everything is. To my knowledge, it already looks and feels like Web 2.
Yep.
So it's what more do you guys want to do here, George? What's the goal to get this to the next level?
For sure. I mean, I think it's supposed to feel non-obvious again. And so for us, crypto and just the technology in general should drastically improve the overall experience of profitability of our business. It should supercharge kind of everything without actually having to change much. And over time, as we do educate our customers, as we do potentially integrate more of these things into the app, I think there's a way to do it and to hold your customer's hand and teach them kind of what we're doing, what we're building, and why. And so, I gave this example to a lot of some friends. Actually, yesterday we went to a hockey game, and they were asking me about all this stuff. They're not really crypto native or anything. And my whole thing was, it really doesn't matter what your product or application's built on. Ultimately, what matters is, does it work? Does it improve your customers' experience or your partner's experience? And what are the key metrics that are important to the business that allow it to succeed? And so I actually think for this to be successful, it doesn't matter what blockchain we're built on to the customer. It doesn't matter what the infrastructure is or what the code is written in.
They're not going to feel it. Yeah.
They're not going to feel it. Like, when's the last time, you cared what hosting provider, a website you use or app you used? Like, you never ask them, like, oh, do you use Amazon? Are you in Azure? Are you in Google Cloud? It doesn't actually matter. Does it work? Is it up? Does it run? Does it make sense? And I think that's really what's going to happen from a native crypto experience in these apps. I think you're going to start seeing more Web2 businesses over time coming into Web3.
Yeah.
And using this to just improve the experience, improve the profitability, and improve whether it be the security of the app, the database, or whatever it may be.
Well said. Also, a quick shout out, Florida Panthers. Very well may win it all again. I assume last night was Tampa, Florida. Was that the game?
Yeah, it was. It was, yeah.
Jeez, I'm a diehard Leafs fan. Even though we're at the top of the division right now, Florida still worries me. That's a playoff team, absolute
They're dogs.
wagon.
They're scrappy.
They're absolute.
You remind me. I grew up, in my age, we grew up seeing the Blackhawks when they had that kind of golden era, winning.
JR,
I think it was 3 and 5 or whatever with
Yeah.
Kaner and Johnny Tays and
that
everyone.
area.
So.
That area. Yeah. Jeez.
I'm not that old. Come on.
No, I thought you meant like way back in the day, but yes.
No. This is like us growing up, seeing kind of going out with a bunch of the players. The city was buzzing. It was super cool.
Yeah. Kaner's a dog.
Yeah.
That guy could tell some stories. I want to go back to just for the listeners who didn't catch the first epi, just very quickly, if you could give sort of the TLDR on the difference on the two sort of main pillars, the consumer side, which is the app where you can buy the discounted gift cards, and the B2B side, where, and I, like a lot of things in life, I think the B2B side has almost not more potential. I feel like it does have more potential because of these guys need loyalty programs, and current loyalty programs are absolute trash, and they need payment solutions, and you guys have solutions for both these. But George, before we move on, I'd love if you could just give a quick sort of explanation on the B2B side and the B2C side of the biz.
Yeah, of course. So I would say it has a broader opportunity when you look at what we're building. So our business has two sides, right? We have a consumer business, which ultimately is one where brands are selling their cards directly to customers, and as a user, you're earning cash back at all your favorite stores. So whether it be booking an Uber, getting food on DoorDash, going to Ulta, shopping at Lowe's or Home Depot, we've really built this as a destination where ultimately your money's worth more everywhere that you go. And so it has this kind of snowball effect, because the more you spend, the more you save. So it kind of has this spend to earn model already baked into it. So if I'm spending $100 at Sephora and I get 10% cash back, that $10 I can now book a free Uber ride with it. Because I think the genius that we've built into the app, and kudos to the kind of the team over the years that has figured this out, is that the cash back you earn at one retailer can be used at any retailer across our entire network. And that's really cool, because whether you're saving up your cash back to shop at Amazon, or whether you want to spend it right away at the same store to boost your savings, it has that repeat behavior already built into the app. And so, that viral loop was really important for us. The way that crypto's kind of integrated into the app is we've enabled crypto payments alongside traditional fiat via credit card. And so today on the app, we're going to be adding a lot more. You can use ETH, BTC, USDT, USDC, DOT, Solana, and several other currencies to actually buy gift cards and earn cash back natively within the Raise app. And on the other side, as far as the retailers, they actually don't accept crypto. We pay them out in fiat. And so we've built a whole settlement layer, and that's where that partnership with Wallet Connect that we talked about before is really critical to the success of that app. On the flip side, on our B2B business, which is called Raise for Business, you can think of this as us taking our catalog of retailers and brands and the technology that we've built as a wrapper and powering other platforms. And so if you didn't recently see, we now power BILT Rewards. BILT Rewards is a large loyalty platform for paying for your rent. have several million users. I became good friends with the founder, Encore, who's an amazing builder and has built an awesome business. That's one example, but we also power Citibank. We power a bunch of other Web2 platforms, but now we're moving over to Web3 as well. And the reason why we think Web3 is so critical and why this is such an important foundational business for the Web3 world is it is a off-ramp, right, from crypto into real-world assets. And so you can think of what we're doing in Polkadot's wallet, right, that's going to be launching as an example of what's to come across the entire industry. We look at our B2B business as distribution, and there's been over 1 billion people that have purchased or have used a gift card globally. And so we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're just trying to improve the experience and tap into more distribution. And so whether that app is integrated into Telegram, whether it's on a Web3 wallet, we ultimately look at this as a way to deliver value to these ecosystems. So let's just use a random wallet, Phantom wallet. Let's say you have Solana in your wallet. Today, the only thing that you can buy are meme coins, NFTs, or other things. We're really taking it to another level, right? And so now within Phantom, let's say in the future, you'll be able to swap Sol natively for Uber, let's say, and pay for your Uber ride using your Solana in your Phantom wallet.
Now we're
and
talking.
That card will be delivered directly into your wallet. So you never have to leave the app. You never have to go anywhere. The retailer is settled in fiat. We work with the wallet and we've built a settlement layer as well. And so we think this is how you're going to bring crypto mainstream, where you can give your community and your users a true off-ramp into a traditional spending or shopping experience.
On a roll here. That's exactly what we need. I mean, you and I talked about this, the last time you came on the pod as well, about what will be that sort of crypto killer consumer app. And this is what we need. We need more usability. I mean, just a great point. Like what is one of the most used crypto apps right now? It's Phantom. And what can you do with it? 2 things. And both those things are pretty much dead right now.
Yeah.
A month ago, we would have said, oh, everyone's going to use it. Now, no one's buying meme coins. No one's buying NFTs.
Well, this is the struggle that I have. In crypto, I've been in this for a really long time now. Since 2011, I've, for better or for worse, seen a lot of ups and downs, which, I think the problem is we constantly take 2 steps forward and take 3 back.
Yeah.
And so we're playing catch up, and I don't think memes ever go away. I actually think they're foundational and part of the culture of crypto. I think people inherently like to gamble. I think speculation ultimately drives a lot of decision making outcomes for people. And I think for me, in order for us to really kick things off and take it to the next level and mature, we need these types of applications. It's not to say that Raise is going to be the only application. I think we are one small example of what's to come. I think a lot of folks for a long time have been trying to tokenize real estate, various assets. You see what's happening in TradeFi. You see what's happening in commodities and the markets. These are all ways that we move to the next chapter of crypto. And that's where I think the next bull market's going to come from. It's going to come from, stable coins. When you look at remittance and payments, it's going to come from, real world assets that we're trying to move on chain, where it just makes complete sense because it works and it solves a real problem and there's a real need. And so I'm bullish that we're getting there. I think when you speak to a lot of other smart investors, because that's also our job, I think folks are finally realizing we need to go there in order to take this thing to where we think it can go. And so I'm bullish over the long run that we're going to solve this and we're going to figure it out, because there's some incredibly talented teams, some really amazing founders that are trying to figure this out. And, it's a marathon, man. It doesn't happen overnight. I try to tell everyone this. Everyone, I was just, like I said, in ETH Denver, and folks are shocked that I've been doing this for 12 years.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, you've been doing it for a long time, because it's, a lifetime plus, actually many lifetimes in crypto. You got to stick it out.
Yeah.
And you got to stick with it, and you got to build. And if you have conviction, you got to take it all the way. And there's going to be people that think you're crazy. There's going to be people that doubt you. That certainly was our case for a long time, but you got to prove them all wrong if you really believe in what you're doing.
Well said. George, you're on a roll here. Quick break, and then we will jump right back into Raise. Huge shout out to our sponsor of the show, that's PrimeXBT, longtime friends and longtime sponsors of the Crypto News podcast. We love the team at PrimeXBT as they offer a robust trading system For both beginners and professional traders, it doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet, you can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. Prime XPT is also running an exclusive promo for listeners of the Crypto News podcast. Use the promo code CryptoNews50. That's CryptoNews50, all one word, CryptoNews50, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Next thing I would love to discuss, and we are getting a little tight for time here.
Sure.
I mean, a couple different things, but the smart cards. This is absolutely huge. This is something, and I love the name too. It's just so clean. The blockchain powered programmable gift cards, literally fraud resistant retail currency. Chargebacks and fraud in crypto, sort of those two things, just an absolute shit show. If you have an e-com store, I mean, every store now has an e-com store. You have gift cards, you put them in, their scams. This is needed. Walking through the process here, I believe that a good chunk of that 63 mil that you guys raised will be put into this. Tell me everything about this.
Yeah, so I would say all of it is going towards this. You know, the main business generates a bunch of cash. So we're using not only just the new money, but also the existing money the business is generating to fund all this stuff. And that's actually been the case. We've already spent about 25 million that we've invested from our balance sheet and from profits of businesses generating into building this future. And certainly all the money that we're making over the foreseeable future is all going to be invested here as well. Because, you know, this is really the bet the house on this future initiative moment, and all of our investors and all our teams behind it. So, you know, look, we're going to swing the bat as hard as we can and kind of go for the grand slam, because this is something that needs to be solved and something that we're committed to figuring out, because retail's broken and payments are broken. And for a long time, there have been too many of these incumbents that have been spoiled and have taken advantage of retail as their customers and consumers. You know, you look at credit card processing, the fact that my business has to pay nearly 3% to collect money and disperse it.
That's insane.
And that's something that costs fractions, right, of a percent is a complete sham. And I think we are one example of someone that's trying to challenge the status quo for that not to be the case. Because for a lot of businesses that have tight margins like ours, right? Because a lot of these, I grew up in the groceries business as well, so I can tell you a lot about tight margins and having to get things right. It is a complete tragedy that businesses like ours and others have to pay that. And so if you look at the gift card industry, it's even worse. It costs retailers upwards to 15 to 20% of the value of a card, of what they're selling, in fees. Because you have to pay the issuer, the processor, the distributor, the activator, the card printer, the issuing bank. I mean, it goes on in terms of all the different people that want to take a piece of the pie. And it's not just a little bit, it's a lot. And they take a lot for doing very little. And so, you know, when you look at the gift card industry in 2024, generated 1 trillion with a T in sales.
That's fucked. That's insane.
Retailers paid $150 to $200 billion of fees to all these other people. You know who pays that? Not the retailer, you and I do. The consumer pays it because it drives prices up for everyone. And so what we really want to do is we look at this entire landscape and realize it was completely broken. It's fragmented. You have zero standardization. You have zero tracking, right, and attribution. You have completely fragmented systems. Like, these things are older than both of us, right? Amazing that they're still working, but I mean, there's no incentive here. And then you look at the industry and you take a step back, and, you know, we were trying to figure this out for a long time, which is like, why isn't anyone solving this? And the reason for it is nobody has an incentive to solve it, because every year their business is going to grow 10 or 15%, because that's how fast the gift card space is growing. And so if your business is growing 10 or 15% and you're owned, let's say, by private equity, why would you actually change anything?
No reason to.
You're going to not invest in any resources. You're going to have no engineers that work for you, because you're going to cut out any expense. And all it is pure maintenance mode. Take all the money out of the system and just ride it for as long as you can. And so that is at the core of what we're changing and why we're so passionate about this, if you can't tell. It's because we believe that you can build a better experience for retail, a better experience for consumers at a fraction of the price, while having a more secure, a faster, and a better network that's been built. And so the better that technology is, the better the experience will be for consumers. Because ultimately, what matters most is a relationship between the brand and the consumer. And the closer we bring those two together, the better it's going to be a win-win for everyone. And the better off that we are, the better off that the retailer is, the better off the consumer is. So it is this kind of win-win-win trifecta that we've built. And so that's what we're really kicking off with smart cards. You can think of smart cards as fully programmable gift cards that come with a complete bespoke set of rules that can be applied. Let me give you a couple examples. From a programmability standpoint, you can program a card to have an offer, to add something like, based on weather or outcomes. Let's use the Florida Panthers as an example. Let's say you're at the stadium and we have a smart card tied to your ticket, right, that you went to the game with. If the Florida Panthers win, everyone gets 30% off the team store for the next week to buy gear based on a on-chain oracle tied to the score of the game. Let's say the Panthers score a goal. After every goal, you may get 30% off beer or 30% off concessions to celebrate that goal, which will drive more users there. These are all measurable outcomes and events that a marketer, it's kind of a wet dream for them, right? And for a company.
Yeah.
Then you can do things like add from a programmability layer, you can do reloads, you can share cards, you can lock cards. So I'll give you an example. We started off the business as a gift card marketplace and exchange back in the day where people can buy and sell gift cards. If you read the back of the fine print, it says, you can't transfer it. However, it's considered property. And so technically you can sell it and you can get cash because once you have a serial number printed, that same serial number can just be transferred to somebody else, albeit there's some trust that exists, and that's why there's a lot of fraud. With a smart card, a retailer can lock that card. So once it's added to a wallet, it can't be transferred. So that's an example of ways that we're trying to solve this thing at scale to get rid of, the fraud, to improve the connection that retailers have with their customers, and just build a better system for the future.
I love that. I mean, heck, you guys got a big TAM as well. $3 trillion, guys, is the expected gift card market by 2030. That is a shit ton of money. I mean, George,
a lot of fees too.
Yeah, a lot of fees. I even think about I have a little box at home with gift cards that I haven't used in forever. Like I still have like an Aeropostale gift card from when I was, like 10 years old and thought it was sick for shopping at Aeropostale. Like crazy stuff.
Well, think of the benefit of the retailer in that instance, right? They now have that float. So if there's no fees on the card, because a lot of times there are fees that are associated or cards expire, but let's say it doesn't expire because a lot of retailers have adopted the Starbucks strategy. You've now lent that $100 to Aeropostale, and they've been using that for the last several years. So they're earning interest on it. They're expanding their stores.
Your bank.
Yeah, exactly. So in a way, this is why the gift card industry is such a net benefit overall to retail, and why the fees that these folks dangle over the heads of the retailers are justified. It's because what they speak in is, well, look how many gift cards expire. Look at the fees that you make. Look at all these things that are net positives that come out of it. I think that's bullshit. I think at the end of the day, the last thing retailers want to be doing is actually screwing over their customers and taking advantage of people by hoping that cards expire or earning because somebody isn't using it. What a brand really wants when you speak to them, because ultimately what they want to do is make their customers happy. They want to drive customers to the stores. They want them spending money. They want to build a relationship with that customer, and they want them to come back again.
Yep.
And so if you figure that out and you really understand what retailers want, because we speak to them every day, that's our job, I think we're way more aligned with what the future that they want to build than the BS that they've been sold for a long time.
I agree. One just sort of last point I'll throw on this, as we are getting tight for time. Then I think you and I may have discussed this on our last pod, but I think airlines do, for all the shit they get, I think they do a pretty good job, at least on the like sort of customer loyalty standpoint. I know they still fuck people over, pardon my French, but like Air Canada has by far the best point system in Canada. Myself, my family, most of my friends, we're loyal to Air Canada, and I'll spend, an extra $100 on a flight that pretty much leaves at the same time just so I can get the points and have the loyalty, go to the lounge. Same with Amex, like the customer support, the sort of bespoke programs that they have, the usability. A lot more companies need to be adopting loyalty programs, gift card programs like these guys, because again, I those are just two off the top of my head, but like it really does move the needle. And I just look at the thousands of dollars that I've paid Amex for membership, the thousands of dollars I've given Air Canada over competitors just because they you have given me some good loyalty programs, and
Yep.
and they have so much more room to growth. If they partner with the Raise and really start working magic, creating some more bespoke programs, really taking care of customers, more programmability. I mean, good Lord, that'd be incredible, you know?
Well, this is actually one of our pitches. It's funny you say that. For airlines, it's how do we now make miles spendable in real time anywhere you go? Because I'll
Yeah.
tell you,
Wow.
people will value their airline miles even more if there's something they can do with them, anywhere that they go or with anything that they want to buy. So let's say you pull up to McDonald's and now you can use your Air Canada miles to basically pay for your food by using a gift card as an on-ramp.
Yeah.
And then the off-ramp or your points that you have. That's one of the key things that we're pitching to a bunch of the airlines and to the hotel programs, which is what drives loyalty is utility.
Yeah.
And by
Oof.
creating more utility, they
Ooh.
generate more profit. And so if you can now take those points that you have that a lot of times are dead points and you can spend them at point of sale or wherever you're going, that is what's going to drive more use and more frequency and more virality in those programs. And so, when you look at airlines, the reason why most folks stay with one airline is, one, loyalty is the main driver, as you said, but two, airlines and flying is a commodity. Ultimately,
Yep.
consumers have a choice that they
Yep.
can make. Most go for the cheapest price. Others go for what they believe maximizes their value in terms of loyalty and status. And so I think this kicks it up another notch, which the more utility you give folks, again, the more profitability that these brands will generate.
100%. George, what an episode. Always love having you on. You always give me some damn good gold here. Even that last line, utility drives loyalty. I need to get that stamped on I might start making t-shirts with utility drives loyalty. Also, brands, give this episode a listen. You guys got some shit to figure out here. But George, always appreciate you coming on. Any news popping off? Again, your episode's going to air in 2 days here on March the 6th. Any news popping off next couple of days, weeks, months, anything like that?
No, we're going to continue integrating with a lot of these wallets. There's going to be a ton of news that's going to be coming out, pretty soon. We announced that we got this non-for-profit started called the Retail Alliance, which is the group that all the retailers are part of, which ultimately is investing in the future of payments. So you can think of us as a kind of this innovation and technology driver for good for retail. We also, ultimately are moving towards launching the token, in the back half of the year, which we're really excited about. More to come on that. But, for us, really the focus is building the community, creating more utility, and expanding internationally, which for us is more content, more availability of brands. We just launched the UK. We actually launched Canada. We got to send that out to you.
Let's
But
go.
there's another 30 or so countries launching over the next couple months. And so for us, the more countries that you're in, the more retailers that are available for you to spend at, I think the more utility you get out of our app, out of what we're building, and the stronger the ecosystem that we're building becomes.
Love that. Fellow Canadian listeners, check out Raise. And guys, the words that everyone wanted to hear, coined later on in the year. Last thing, where can everyone find Raise online? You guys got the best website, one of the best websites on cryptoraise.com. Plug the socials, plug your own socials, and then we're off to the races.
Awesome. Yeah, it's just on X, Raise app. We're actually spinning up a Telegram community now that we're going to be building up. So we'll be sharing that. And then my personal is at Bousis. So you can get a bunch of updates on there on what we're building and what we're doing, and give us a shout. We run a bunch of promos so you can save some money, jump on Raise, and let me know your thoughts.
Folks, what an episode with George Bousis, CEO and founder of Raise. Always love having George on. Such a good episode. Web3, gift cards, spending to earn, the big old $63 million Raise, customer loyalty programs, and some gold like utility drives loyalty. Just all world. Folks, if you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you did, please do subscribe. It would mean the world to my team and I. Speaking to the team, love you guys. Thank you so much for everything. And back to the listeners, keep on growing those bags. Guys, we're in a little bit of a bear. Go touch some grass, go lift some heavy shit, get some sun on your skin, and keep on staying happy, healthy, and wealthy. Love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Ciao.